everyone, welcome back to Watch and Carry. So in today's video I'm going to show you how to paint some of the lettering or numbers on the sidewall of your one-wheel tire. So I have this Burris TX33 tire. I just got this installed tonight, and wanted to go ahead and paint some of the numbers and letters around the tire before I mounted it, since it's a little bit easier to access at this point. So a few of the tools that you're going to be needing are just some rubbing alcohol, either a workshop towel, or you can use something like a microfiber towel. And then you're going to need these Sharpie paint pens. Now I bought these in a pack off of Amazon, so this is the brand and the model. You have to buy them in a pack, so if you're looking for a certain color, they don't really sell them individually. You have to buy them in a pack like this. These cost me about, I think, $7 or $8 for the whole set, so not too bad. Okay, and so let's go ahead and get started. So the first step you want to do is kind of clean your mounting area, or painting area, I should say, with the rubbing alcohol. Okay, so let's focus here on these letters, or these numbers, all right? So we'll take our microfiber cloth, put just a little bit of alcohol on there. Okay, if the tire is dirty or used and you have some dirt on here, make sure you clean that off beforehand and then do the alcohol last. We'll just put that little bit of alcohol right there. Okay, wipe off the excess. And I'll let that sit for about a minute and come back while it evaporates. Okay, so while that's evaporating, we can take our Sharpie paint pen, and what you want to do is give this a really good shake, and you want to kind of prime it first. So here are the directions. Okay, so you're going to remove the cap with the marker in the tip up position, depress point with finger. Okay, so I've already used this before, so that's why it looks used, but basically what you'll do is you'll use your finger and just push down on this once, okay? Recap and shake well to mix the paint. Depress marker point several times on the surface to saturate the point, and then you'll go ahead and apply it. Okay. Now this doesn't say how long it takes to dry. Typically I'm finding at least an hour in room temperature is sufficient. I think it's best actually to leave it overnight before you take it on any rides, especially if you have any dirt or wet riding planned. Secondly, if you have a brand new tire like I do here, I highly recommend applying this after you've inflated the tire. The reason being, obviously the rubber material of the tire is porous, and so when you inflate it, you're really stretching out those pores, and you're opening them up to allow the paint to go in. If I was to paint this while it was deflated and then inflate it, I could see that paint stretching as the tire stretches with the air, and then cracking, and then I'd have to go back and paint it again. So I think it's best to mount and then inflate to your recommended PSI, and then go ahead and do the painting after you've given it a good clean with the alcohol wipe. So this is already primed. We've pushed our paint pen down, so we'll give it a few shakes. Okay, and then what you'll do is, if this is brand new, the tip will appear usually white, like very plain. So for example, this blue one has never been used, so I'll just open this up so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I open that up, you see how the tip is white? So that's why they want you to depress this a few times like this to really saturate. So you can see here, originally nothing is coming out, right? But then the more I press it, the more paint comes out. So now I'm fully saturated. Okay, so we'll go back to our tire over here. Okay, that looks like the alcohol has now evaporated off. And then you'll just go ahead and start just, painting over the lettering. So what I like to do is just kind of do one pass over it. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. I like to get the edges first. and then go back down the middle. Okay, kind of like that. And so while I'm pressing down, I'm trying to find that edge, right? Because these letters are a little bit raised off the tire, so you can see that. You see how it's kind of raised? So as I'm applying it, I'm kind of feeling for the edge of that one, right? And once I feel that edge, I go ahead and like let go, and I don't go too much further because I don't want to paint beyond the edge. But you do want to get those edges because that's really what's going to give you the border, a nice, clean, crisp border for your character that you're painting. So that looks okay for now. Let me dial down this brightness, but not even, right? There's like some parts here in the middle that are a little bit black still and not quite yellow. So what I do there is I go ahead and have my napkin ready, which means like maybe this pen is drying out. I'll go ahead and push it a few more times just to saturate that tip. Okay, and then go back to, oops, leaked a little bit. So, well, here's a good example. If you get paint like I just did here, it went through the shop towel. So be careful of that. Just get a little bit of alcohol on a clean towel, and you can rub that off. Okay, better to do it sooner than later. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, let's see, the top of that one still looks kind of bare. So we'll go back over that, and then, oh, that's looking a lot better. Now, here in the center, you can see that it's not as thick as the ends. So what I'll do is here, I'll just dab this a little bit. Dab, 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 dab. Okay, and then I'll spread out what I just dabbed into the area. Okay, kind of like that. Now, if you go over the edge a little bit so you can see very small amount that I went over here, you can grab something like a toothpick, or I have this metal tool here, and you can just kind of rub that off and then wipe off that paint that you did on the outside, on a napkin, I mean, and then kind of go back over the lettering. I guess some people have taped off their lettering. That's a little bit, that's a lot of work, to be honest. And for me, I just kind of find this method okay. So that looks pretty good for now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate here so you can see. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and so you can see there, when your pen dries out, you could be tempted to kind of push on the tip here to saturate the tip more. Do the saturation on a napkin. Make sure that you're not leaking onto anything, or do it on a napkin on a paper plate or something. Because if you saturate here, like the first time I did this on a different tire, I pushed just a bit too long, and like gobs of paint came out like in a pool, and I had to clean up the entire thing. Ruined my work, and I had to go back. So do all your saturation separately from the project that you're working on. All right, so now let's move to the next one. So I'll go ahead and dab again, or saturate again. So I'll fold this towel a little bit more so I don't mark the tire. Kind of push, 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 push. Good, we're getting some paint. Now let's go to here and do this guy. Okay, find that edge. And then now I'm going to dab over the parts that look a little bit less wet or less saturated with paint than the others. Okay, so that one went a lot quicker. Okay. And then that's pretty much it. So you'll go ahead and I won't do this all in front of you because it'll take a while, but you know, this other part of the tire I did about an hour ago, so you can kind of see what the paint looks like when it's dry. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay. And so you just let that sit. Now, when you let this sit, it's best to let it sit flat, right? I would, you know, especially if you have this one right here, you can see like there's a good thick wet layer of paint still on that number one. I wouldn't want to tip this over to the side or put the tire on its tread, because that gravity will start pulling that paint away and then it might fall off the number one. So try to leave it as flat as you can. Do one side of the tire. So I would recommend like doing, you know, all your painting first on one side, let it sit on that side for an hour, and then flip the tire over and then do the reverse, and then again let it sit overnight. So anyways, really simple thing that you can do. When I used this on the stock Vega tire for the Onewheel, I was riding through, you know, dirt, water, a little bit of mud here and there, obviously pavement. And after, I think, maybe 2 months of riding from November through December in the cold months, I saw just a little bit of cracking on the lettering, nothing very severe. And again, if it cracks, you can always go over it again with your paint pen. But through all those different environments, dirt, moisture, water, all that stuff, the paint held up really, really well. So I've been very, very pleased. So again, guys, these are the Sharpie paint pens. You can pick these up from Amazon anywhere from like $5 to $10. And yep, that'll do it for today's video. If you have any questions, comments, tips, or maybe corrections that you saw today, please feel free to comment down below. And as always, have fun, be safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.